Hey guys, I hope you're having a fantastic day. Today we're going to look at what's happening with the tech job market. Based on the recent stats, there is a positive upward trend. It's a slow climb, so we're at very early stages of recovery, but the results are already quite promising. If we look at the market globally, there are currently 216,000 available job positions all across tech. I wouldn't say that this number is entirely accurate because of fake job postings, but it shows the trend. And especially when you compare it against the last year, the time low point was in February 2023, which is like literally less than a year ago. And the amount of job postings amounted to 163,000, which shows a 32% growth year over year. It's a very slow and steady climb. If we look deeper into the numbers, what we're seeing is that most of the positions are coming from United States, spread across Bay Area. I think is the cornerstone. The majority of positions are coming from there. You have places like Austin, which are now booming, Seattle, New York, Washington. So there's a long tail of smaller cities. But in total, the amount of job postings coming from US is roughly 35%, which is more than anywhere else around the globe. If you look at, for instance, European Union, just 5%. If you look at UK, it's roughly 3%. And the rest is spread thin across other geographies globally, the remainder of the job postings. If you look at the structure of those job postings as well, 25% of those are software engineering positions, and product management positions are only 3%. Of course, the rest is spread between other functions, basically. What we are also seeing, a pretty interesting trend, is that remote is gaining more and more traction. It's already 11% out of all the job postings out there. Interestingly enough, remote is prevalent across companies of different maturity levels. Because my previous assumption was that you can build a company remotely when it's a startup or a nascent company, but when you're scaling, you need to have the team in-house. Because if your team is in-house, you can ensure that there is a cross-pollination of culture, you can ensure that you're getting the maximum output of your collaboration, especially when you hire more junior workers. Having all the team in-house is more beneficial than having them spread all across the globe. However, we're seeing that the amount of job postings, basically quarter over quarter, in the remote sector is growing. What is interesting is that directionally we're seeing a decline in layoffs. If you remember, layoffs in tech have been spread across 2022 and 2024. But in 2024, year to date, we're seeing the least amount of layoffs happening all across those 3 years. With the peak, probably it's beginning 2023, where like 230,000, 240,000. And when we look at the structure of the people that were laid off, their functions, and they more or less are proportional to the new open positions, because the biggest the biggest amount of layoffs affected software engineers, I think like 35%, give or take, and 3.54% were product managers. So if we map those laid off onto the new open positions, we're seeing proportionally similar numbers. Many companies overhired during COVID because there was a peak in tech usage all across the globe. Once COVID subsided, the demand for those positions and businesses subsided as well. On top of this, the structural economic issues led to there was much less experimentation happening in the business models. Founders were mostly focusing on battle-tested business models and sometimes very down to the ground. The only outlier here is AI. So of course, a lot of VC money is being poured into AI in the search for the most profitable use case. To sum it all up, what we're seeing is quite promising. In general, I think the market is on a recovery trend. Of course, it will take more than just a few quarters. I think we're going to see another boom in more or less a year. This colder stage of the market where there was much less supply of talent available versus the demand is going to eventually subside. The demand for experienced personnel, software engineers, product managers, product designers, analysts, is still going to peak. It will just take a little bit longer. So yeah, a little bit of food for thought for you guys. Have a great day.